Yeah! I'm gonna need more. Let's get more. Let's get all the experience. 33 is what I needed? That's still not enough. Oh my god. Okay. Now God skin. What's this gonna be? 2 levels? Nice. Okay, I've got fully repaired armor. Don't need iron or diamonds anymore. I'll top off the stack of arrows. I don't know how long this fight is gonna last, but probably a few regen potions wouldn't be a bad idea. Do you have any spares? Looks like. And I've got another drinkable regen. Yeah. Alright. Let's head back up. Oh, you know what? I should get more apples. Never know when they might be helpful. If I'm gonna throw everything that I've got at this boss, then I really need to throw everything. Been saving all these golden apples precisely for this moment. Right, where am I going? I want to section 4. Alright, we're gonna teleport to Aris's domain in a moment. Let's pop a saturation. Just so I don't have to worry about food. Do I want to carry another stack of blocks? I think 2 will be fine. What other potions do I want? Where is strength? There's void space, I don't like that. Moves through the shadows, huh? Interesting. Man, this guy hurts. I'm running. %, huh? What else might I want? So I can eat an apple to refresh the absorption. That's good to know. Alright, I'm blinded, not a fan. Come here, Aris. I'm ready for you. Can't see. I can't see. I don't like this. I can't see. Wow, I defeated him? Okay, that was kind of easy with strength 3. That was still really intense. I had to eat a lot of these apples. But man, I didn't even end up using most of these potions. Alright, so, I beat the map with 2 deaths. One in Summoner's Lair, one in Cinderblood Temple. Both of them I think were fairly avoidable. Let's get out of here and let's place it on the monument. And then once I've done that, I guess I'll walk through all the different areas and give my thoughts on them. This map was really fun, and I love all the different custom loot. Like this 24 attack damage hoe, Behemoth, Dragon Fury. Yay! Let's get another screenshot from like over here. Yeah, there we go. There's a lot of fireworks. What the hell are they doing to the water? Water's like flickering in and out of existence because of the fireworks. But yeah, this map was really well done. Like, between the higher level enchants than you'd normally be able to get, all the unique abilities, like, it just makes this map so much fun. And the mobs are actually really challenging all the way until the end. Alright, so. Let's go over to the Valley of Blood. That's intersection 1, but it's close enough. We'll go into spectator mode. That's the breeding grounds. That's the Nexus. God damn it, I'm bad at this. Okay, where the hell is what I'm looking for? Or, no, yeah, the Nexus is what I'm looking for here. Yeah, okay. Sorry, I got a bit lost there for a second. Yeah, so even from the very start, it's actually quite a bit of a challenge. Like, I don't know, I took everything out of this chest, but you get given, like, a couple of enchanted wooden tools, maybe? Other than that, like, there's some melons scattered around, so basically food and wood are not really a problem at the very beginning of the map, which I do like. But other than that, like, you get thrown a lot of mobs right off the bat. What just hurt me there? Was that like my health boost running out? Yeah. And I forget, was it this house that we got the frost trap in? Or this house? It was this house with the frost trap. Actually, if I just grab one real quick. Do not throw multiple in very quick succession, huh? Okay, so if I were to try and auto-click it, it gets lost. I see. But even if you don't auto-click it, it can get lost sometimes. But yeah, and I love the Emerald Monument. It's a great way to encourage you to explore without, like, without just forcing you there by hiding the crystal in some remote corner of the map, remote corner of the area. Like, these areas are huge. They're really cool. The coal mines is a great way to get you early access to torches. And you actually do get basically infinite lighting up here if you ever need it. Like, I never actually ended up coming here for this glowstone, but you could get it. I don't think there's anything hidden up here. Yeah, I don't know why it's called the Valley of Blood. I guess because it's a valley and you're intended to die. But yeah, this starter town, like, this is really big. But it was a fun area. The mobs were very challenging. And I had to retreat it a few times, block myself up. Ah, yes, and over here was where I got the Pioneer's Blade. That served me well throughout this map. But yeah, I really like the Valley of Blood. Kind of sets you up for the level of difficulty you can expect out of this map. And if you play well, hoard resources, and scavenge everything you can get, you can actually be quite successful and get some fairly good gear out of this area. Talking like gold and chain armor, gold swords with like smite 3, even smite 4. Now cobwebs, I'm really not a fan of cobwebs, but I like that each area kind of has its own little theme, and the block palette is adjusted to fit that theme. Like here you've got, supposed to be like a spider's den. Out here you got like the brown clay. I guess that represents like the canyon walls. And I like that sometimes the areas have like additional objectives that you need in order to actually get to the next area. This was a very precarious situation here. Getting the anvil. Because there is so much lava, it's easy to die and lose it. You know, I didn't actually realize that I could have just dug, like, straight across here. But yeah, I guess it makes sense. This is the blacksmith building. And over here was the library where you had to get the feather falling books. Did I get both of them? Yeah. There was an emerald hidden in here. There was an emerald hidden in here. I think there was a sign here that said, like, some emeralds are harder than others, which is true. Like, so the emeralds are not like a unifying thing in terms of difficulty. Some of them are just kind of there to encourage you to explore. Like over here, there was one. Yeah, it was in this one, I think. Or no, it was in the other chest, but yeah. There's a regen potion I never got. And there's a honey pot. But yeah, and some of them are actually their own little mini dungeons, like over here. So this area is really cool. move on to the Nexus. Oh, and I also like this. Always be on the lookout for secrets. And what I really like about how the emeralds are done is you're not supposed to just like dig around or explore literally everything and hope to find some random chest hidden in a corner somewhere. There's always like a path. It's not always necessarily in an obvious location, but there's always like a path to it. It's not just a random chest somewhere. Anyway, over here, the Nexus. The Nexus was an absolutely brilliant idea, and I love how you could just have one central base and teleport outwards to all the areas. I think I can go down and actually see what was in all these emerald chests. Another storm, hate plate. Yeah, so the first one was the Punisher level 1, which was actually a pretty good weapon for its time. Hate plate. I didn't end up using this too much because my health rarely got below 5 hearts, but Nether Storm. Yeah, that was a really nice bow. And Rocket Boots. Okay, that was an Emerald Reward. Yeah, Rocket Boots, that agility buff is my favorite ability in the game. The jump boost makes everything so much easier. Monster Catcher. I didn't end up using that too much, but I can see how it would be useful. Oh yeah, the Crown of Protox is the last one. So over here, you've got Trinity's Justice, Light Guard. Okay, so I think over here is where it continues. Curse of the Arctic. As cold as Alessio's heart. Templar's Wrath. That was a really nice one. Okay, the Juggernaut's Plate Legs, those were also from the Emerald. I didn't really end up using the Punisher level 2. I just didn't really see it as that useful, but I guess it could be good against zombies and stuff. Light Guard, Trinity's Justice. I was gonna use this, but Vanguard's Torment just ended up being better. Because Vanguard's Torment, you just like shoot it at the ground and it acts like its own frost trap, basically, that damages things. The Bedrock block system here, these upgrades. What does this book say? Did I ever read this book? Highly recommend getting the basic Frenzy and Arcane Strike as soon as possible. After that, all further upgrades depend on your preferences and playstyle. If you are 2 or more players, I recommend getting the Scavenging upgrade in order to ensure that you have enough gear for all players. Yeah, that makes sense. I didn't get Arcane Strike until very late. And I do kind of regret that now, but I guess the Frost Trap was enough to deal with mobs that I didn't really feel the need for an AoE attack. But in retrospect, it would have been a really good idea to get Arcane Strike early. So, yeah, I already talked about the Nexus. Like, it's really convenient to just not have to make like rail lines and new bases every time you get to a new intersection, like you have to do in a Vex map. It just makes everything so much easier. It saves on the off-camera work and keeps you up on the action. But I also like that you can't just teleport in, you have to actually unlock the teleporter. Oh yeah, this was the trap that blew up. Because there's an anvil here, and when you break the anvil, the gravel or whatever falls. And then activated some TNT that was up here. So yeah, the path to intersection 1, I like the idea of kind of islands along a waterfall. I think that worked out really well. And he was actually able to kind of like vertically connect some of the rooms. And that just works out really well. It's not meant to be too hard because it's just like a little transition area. But there is a trap here and there if you're not careful, and there were like quite a few spawners. Also being quite generous with coal. So the first intersection. Was the hermit over here? Yeah. And what did you give me? Protection 1 leather. It's not really that useful. Because I already got lots of enchanted leather out of the Valley of Blood. And it's about to get even more out of the Zephyrin Sands. Now, the Zephyrin Sands, I think, is a good introduction to like what to expect from the map proper. Huge areas, huge castles, traps, and lots of mobs. I never did end up using the shrine over here. And overall, I like this area a lot because you're getting good access to cobblestone. Like down here, going down into the fire, this part was really fun. And over here, you got this trap that almost killed me. And you know what? I never realized that the summoner's lair was right here. That's funny. I guess he couldn't fit it anywhere else. Yeah, and here you get your first introduction to boss fights. Now, I kind of cheesed this one by using the Pioneer's Blade, but I was pretty nervous, and I really didn't know what to expect. I just knew that it was going to be very difficult, and I wanted to make it as easy as possible. So I used the Pioneer's Blade, which if you don't remember was a Smite 8 gold sword. I ended up using that in one more boss fight before it kind of became obsolete. Yeah, and you've also got this upper area, which encourages you to explore more, and I really do wish that he actually did more with this upper area, because a lot of this is just barren and empty. Man, I'm only at 23 minutes. Oh boy, Zin's Legacy. I'll admit I was not really a fan of getting thrown 3 mini-bosses so soon after like a major boss, but they weren't too hard to cheese. And once again, each one kind of has its own theme. Oh, you know what? Forgot to mention. What makes these boss fights like interesting is that you're not like in any of these bosses, you're not able to just hide in a corner and camp the boss. None of them. Each of the bosses have unique powers, unique abilities that prevent you from camping them and cheesing them. If you want to win, you gotta do it legitimately. Or at least as legitimately as you can with a Smite 8 sword. But yeah, this area was heavily based off of, and is honestly kind of I think a logical extension of the Ninja Academy in Ragecraft 2, which I didn't play myself, at least not yet, but I saw Z still play it. And it's like basically constant parkour. And I think this area is much better done than the Ninja Academy, where the wool was just stuck in a random building somewhere. Here you have to find and slay each of the mini-bosses, which don't have any kind of fancy anti-cheese mechanic, unlike the main bosses. They're just like really tanky zombies that hit really hard. Yeah, with this guy, you had to find him. You had to get rid of all the mobs. And this area is what made me love Jump Boost. I didn't actually end up getting to use the Grandmaster set for very long. It just became obsolete fairly quickly. But for the 2 areas that I used it on, oh boy, it was fun. I never actually did go back and fully loot this area. But on Breaking 1 probably would have been nice to have. I was pretty thorough about getting everything out of the Zephyrin Sands, but starting at about this point, I had enough stuff that I could afford to just like leave a lot of it and just kind of come back for the rest as I need it. Especially the enchanted leather, I didn't really end up using much. But in a multiplayer, if you're in a multiplayer setting like I was a few months ago, then all this loot is very important because not everyone gets to have the best gear. Because the best stuff gets given out very rarely. And it's only like the medium level stuff that gets given out fairly generously. I like how I used wool on the crystal boxes. That gives a cool look. But yeah. You had to slay the 3 mini bosses, and there was a bedrock wall here that would open up. It was a very fun area. I really enjoyed it. Then there was the breeding grounds. This area was probably a lot easier for me than it would have been if I was going in blind, because again, I beat the map a few months ago in multiplayer. So I kind of already knew what to expect. But oh man, it's still quite difficult. The zombies here hit very hard and have a lot of health. And you have to kind of take advantage of the water, which is risky because there's these creeper holes. I blocked most of them up, but I probably missed a few. There was also some guardian spawners that I had to break. Now, this area is cool, but I'm just generally not a fan of areas where you have no idea where you are because everything looks the same on ground level. The hunting grounds in Ragecraft 2 kind of suffered from the same problem. And actually, breeding grounds, hunting grounds, this was probably based off of that area. Except it's a more jungly theme with reptiles. But yeah, the main area is bad enough, and then when you find the wool dungeon, sorry, the crystal dungeon, this is just such a maze. It's a massive maze, and you have no idea where the hell you are. Huh, there's a chest here with a cookie. That's funny. Yeah, this place was a maze. Like, seriously, thank fuck for the shortcut. If not for that shortcut, I never would have been able to find my way back. There's some stuff here that I probably could have used, but I didn't really want to come back to this area. It's just hell to navigate. I think there were a couple more emeralds here that I missed and had to come back for off camera. But once you got up, this upper half of the area was a lot more fun, I think. This is the path to the outpost, which is intersection 2. You've got all these little houses with spawners scattered throughout. And there were some of these mines scattered throughout with bonus loot. Yeah, and there's some fairly good loot in these houses. I don't know if I ended up like leaving any chests here. seems like I got pretty much all the loot, but I like this upper half of the area. It was pretty cool. And then you've got this like broken rail line here, which this is not even powered. There's no powered rails. It would never be viable as an actual rail line. It's just for decoration. Although if you follow it, you end up over here at a secret bus station. I don't know if I ever showed this off, but it gives you regen resistance and fire resistance. And I guess you could probably push the minecart onto the track and extend it. I never thought of that, but you could probably like actually get the minecart down here and into one of these areas. So once you get here, the little mines was first. This is another one of those areas that's like a giant maze where everything looks the same, but the actual area is pretty cool. It's a cool area. I just don't like areas where everything looks the same. Like, you got these mines here. Let's see, where do you start? Okay, I'm starting here. Got like a wooden entrance here that leads to something. I don't know what it is. I think it led to some piece of special loot. There's some gold. I kind of meant to come back for this gold, and then I just never did. And there's also stuff down in the ravines if you fell down, like there's a couple emeralds and some lapis. Lapis, of course, being useful for enchanting. Yeah, and then you get to this path, and you have another one of these like wooden entrances, which leads to this extensive mine with some cool custom loot. And then, oh look, it's another wooden entrance that looks exactly the same as the others. Oh, this one has the checkpoint. Yeah, we totally missed this until the very end of the area in our multiplayer playthrough. And I was only able to get it because I knew where it was. The one in the breeding grounds was a lot more obvious. We were just idiots. So over here, this led to the crystal dungeon. And honestly, I was pretty disappointed how short this was. I would have liked it for this to be longer. But oh well. I guess you've got just you get so much lead up to it. It just kind of feels anticlimactic, in my opinion. There's an emerald here. You can still see the green wool. Yeah. Here and in a few other areas, I ended up just breaking the chest with an axe rather than trying to break the wool. What was in here? Some nice loot. I never really ended up using these stacked potions much. I mean, I could kind of see a situation in which they might be useful, but at least for me, I don't think they're worth the risk of splashing yourself. I would rather just use the traps, where there is no risk of accidentally hitting yourself. Yeah, this shortcut helped a lot. I actually did pray to the Lapis Shrine. I saw that when I was coming back for loot, and I realized that I forgot to do it at first. Oh boy, the last sorcerer. This area is pretty nervous about because I knew it had a boss fight, and well, it definitely lived up to my hopes. It was a very intense fight. There's actually some loot up here that I missed at first and had to come back for. I didn't actually realize that there would be loot up here because I don't think there was loot in any of the other boss rooms. Yeah, you can actually like get up here and there's loot. But yeah, I like the mechanic of the sorcerer banning all magic, and so you can't use any splash potions. Like that's really cool, and it's part of what helps these areas have a unique theme. This is like a giant wizard tower. Up at the top, I think you had like a piece of custom loot. I don't remember what was there. Huh. Guess I never came back for this stuff. There's an emerald up here, as well as a few gas spawners. Then the level below. Around here somewhere was the checkpoint. Yeah, the checkpoint was like about halfway up from where you start. And then you slowly descend through the tower. And then you've got some of these little side rooms. There's actually a chest here with like Soup Bob's special soup or something that gave you 60% max health, but I just ate it. I ate the soup. Yeah, there was this lightning shrine, I think. I think this was the lightning shrine. And I actually totally forgot to destroy this. I saw the book about shrines, I read it, and then I just didn't destroy the shrine. Not smart. So I had to come back and do that at the end of the episode. Over here you had the fire shrine. This was a piece of custom loot. Don't remember what it was. You can see Mount Sinus over there. And this tower is really big. Like, I'm honestly like really impressed that Alicia was able to so thoroughly decorate these areas when they're so massive. And let's see. Yeah, over here is where the pig for the quest was. There's a chest here with like carrot on a stick. Did I ever read this book? The sorcerer turned Hilda to a pig. Oh well, I guess I'll bring her back anyway. I wonder if he would object to me riding her. I don't see anything wrong with riding on someone's wife. Nope. What was up here? Did I get this? I guess I did. So there's a fire and a creeper spawner here. But yeah, and down here in the basement. Oh yeah, so there's a lot of witches down here. And on this level. And the witches are actually called grenadiers. I don't know if I ever pointed that out, but they're called grenadiers because their potions are like grenades. They summon explosions when they get thrown. But there's a book at the start that tells you that down here in the basement are the enchanting tables. And I took those, and those triggered a trap. What was that trap anyway? I'm not actually sure what that trap was. Oh yeah, I see. Potions. This chest plate is too good. But yeah. Let's see, what was over here? Was this one of the shrines? No. Down here somewhere. Over here was the Earth Shrine. And somewhere else was the Water Shrine? This might have been the Water Shrine, I don't know. Okay, yeah, that was the Water Shrine, and this was the Lightning Shrine. Yep. I remember now. This was the one that had creepers jumping out of holes that I had to cover up. And yeah. I think I talked about like the sorcerer himself. Like that was a really, really intense boss fight. It was a lot harder than I was expecting. I mean, I was expecting hard, but that really gave me a good challenge, put me to my limit. Surprisingly, I didn't die in any of the boss fights. Not even the witch boss fight, which we'll get to later. But I did come close a couple times. Okay, how do I get out of here? Over here. So after the last sorcerer was Mount Sinus. And here it tells you the fire resistance will not help you from the volcano, and I misunderstood that mechanic. Like, at first I thought that there was something special going on with fire resistance and it like wouldn't help you, but really the way it works is if you go into the volcano you get Wither and Blindness. Wither 3 and Blindness. Okay, stop blinding me, please. Yeah, this was like a fiery area, so you have a much darker block palette, like netherrack, nether brick, lava, fire. Is this brown clay? I think that's like brown clay and red clay. I really love the way that red clay looks. That's such a cool block. But yeah, you start out and you're like, oh yeah, okay. Seems reasonable enough. And then you get over here and you're like, holy shit, this area is huge. Which is what you've come to expect at this point, honestly. There's some stuff in here that I didn't really need. Yeah, like extinguisher. I ended up just mostly using a water bucket. That was the easiest way to extinguish myself. Because fire resistance doesn't stop fire tick. Water does. There's some coal and iron here, but by this point I had scavenger, so I didn't really need it. Nothing might have been nice to have. Well, actually not really. At this point I was already using like a set of iron armor. Because I tried out the Grandmaster set and it just wasn't working. I needed to bring a heavier armor set. So there's like the volcano, and there's lots of stuff you needed to get along the edge of the volcano. There was like lots of loot. And in order to descend into the volcano, you needed to grab the 4 pieces of the armor set that would allow you to descend into the volcano. And that was a really awesome mechanic. I loved that. Yeah, and in here you've got like pieces of loot. That was an emerald. Yeah, apparently I blocked this up. Tempest bow, not very good for this stage of the game. I mean, it's not terrible, but I had better stuff. I don't remember if I had Nether Storm by this point. I think I did. I think I was using Nether Storm as my primary bow. Yeah, and there were signs up here that I didn't actually read. Was it over here? Did you ever want to jump headfirst into a volcano? What do you mean no? You're no fun. I hope you brought lava diving gear. There's a hints book here that gives you the coordinates of everything you need. Which is another thing that I do like. If you're really stuck, Alicia will help you. So over here was the path to the 3rd intersection. And down here, there was an emerald, and I'm really sad that I didn't get this on camera. But, so I was coming back here like right after finishing up an episode, and it was late at night, and I just didn't feel like talking. But yeah, down here was TNT storage. There's lots of TNT scattered throughout the walls. There was bits of loot and an emerald, and there were creeper spawners, and it's a pretty nasty area. But I was able to successfully retrieve the emerald. There's another little cave over here with an emerald. And another cave over here that I think had an emerald. Or maybe that was a piece of custom loot, I'm not sure. But yeah, when you finally get all the way up here, you get to intersection 3 and you're officially halfway done with the map. I'm admittedly a little disappointed that there were no, like, hidden secret chests along the edges of the intersection somewhere, but I can understand not wanting to do that. Now, I actually found this intersection, like, really confusing to navigate. Like, I had to use the wool as reference points in order to understand where the hell I was. This was General James. Or is that Janus? Janus. Sorry, Janus. You're Janus, not James. And this was Dalrin. Let's see, what did you want me to do? Right. This was a 5 emerald quest. Wow. I destroyed the quarry, redstone mines, coal, and food storage. Yeah, that was in the summoner's lair. So which area did I do first? Winter's End. It was the Phantom Ruins. Where is that? The Phantom Ruins. This was admittedly a rather frustrating area, because it's easy to splash yourself with the revealing potion. I was really paranoid about doing that, but this was a cool area. Oh, I missed a chest here. That would have been nice stuff to have. But yeah, I like that you have to throw the potion at the phantoms in order to make them vulnerable, able to be hurt. There's like lots of these little side areas off the main path where emeralds were hiding. There's some iron and even a chest up here. I don't even remember what was up here. I don't remember if there's anything good. Over here was the pretty well placed checkpoint. Give you easy access to the upper ruins and over the crystal dungeon. Now the upper ruins, this was a cool idea, but I found it very confusing. Like I missed this emerald and I had to come back for it. You can see me using glowstone here. I don't know if I ever explicitly pointed it out, but one thing you'll notice with me is that I kind of alternate between using glowstone and torches depending on which one I get given a lot of. Like, torches are my default fallback, but if I get given a lot of glowstone, then I'll just use it. And so sometimes even in the same area, you'll see me alternate between like glowstone and torches. But yeah, over here, you had to flip the lever. Can you like unflip it? Does that actually lock it off if you unflip it? Yeah, down here, you actually had a few different places to go. There was up here, where there was an emerald, I think, and also a piece of custom loot. And over here, there's a bunch of gold down here with TNT spawners, which was a good idea. And over here, I think there was an emerald. Yeah, there's definitely an emerald in this area. There was... Was that an emerald or was that a piece of custom loot? I don't even remember. I don't remember. But anyway. You had that, and then over here you had the way to the crystal dungeon. Again, I'm a little disappointed they didn't hide any chests on top, but whatever. There's a cookie, nice. Teleport back up, one way. Okay, so it seems like unflipping the lever did not close the door. Okay, I see. So the way this trap worked is it was a proximity trap. If you got close enough to the spawner, then a creeper would spawn, land on the pressure plate, and activate these pistons. Let's demonstrate that real quick. La la la, I'm here to get my crystal. Come on, are you gonna spawn? No? Fine, I'll just step on it. Oh, there you are. Oh, I guess the circuitry broke or something? Not really sure what happened here, but anyway. A creeper would spawn, and it would open these pistons that were revealing rooms with lots of mobs. A very clever trap. So yeah, overall, I think I was a fan of this area. It was a really cool area. And we had, where was it? Was it across? No. Over here, Summoner's Lair. This was the site of my first death. Which, honestly, it was avoidable, but I still think it's kind of unfair that... I think it's unfair that, like, I had the poison hearts, even though I had wither. If I saw that I had wither hearts, I would have known to use a health potion. So, whatever. It's not a big deal. But yeah, this is another area that I would consider fairly confusing. Good use of endstone, though. Endstone and sandstone. Like, the block palette changes with each area. And it's little touches like that that make this map great. Yeah, there's this trap over here. Where was it? Over here. Which... it's not too hard to spot if you know Helicio, but I'll admit that I did already know this was here. I don't think I explicitly said it at the time, but I knew it was there. I think I died to that trap in multiplayer. You know, it's a shame that this TNT didn't get exploded. Oh, I don't even have a flame bow. Oops. Okay. Actually, let's go to game mode 1. Bang! Never let any TNT go unexploded. There's a boss protection book here. There are a lot of books that I never ended up using. Look at you, you've got strength. So I think that silverfish are not supposed to have strength here, but they just always have it by default once you unlock intersection 4. There's some loot here that I missed. Damn. That's actually not bad. But yeah, once you reach intersection 3, you're starting to get iron stuff a lot. Intersection 1, you're mostly getting like leather armor and stone weapons. Starting intersection 2, you're starting to get more golden chain armor and iron weapons, and then you get to intersection 3 and you're getting like iron armor, iron weapons, and even the occasional piece of diamond. And I like that even as the loot gets better, like the difficulty still manages to stay quite high. Like, I actually died in this area. This was my first death of the map around here somewhere. Was it in here? No. Alchemy lab. Where was the armory? this led to one of the quest things. This was an ender chest. The ender chests were generally not in very convenient places, but I did end up making use of them sometimes. Got the brewery here. This was where I got some cactus juice. I tried to make the most of the potions that I had, but I did end up just not using a lot of them because I wanted to save them and then I never got a chance to use them. That's just the life of a loot hoarder. You save them and then it turns out you don't really need them. Now down here, I probably should have looked down here, honestly, but I would have appreciated if there was like a hint book somewhere saying that, hey, this is where you have to go to get the quest item, the blight root or the blood flower or whatever it was. But yeah, let's see what was over here. Yeah, this was the vault. And there's also this cave, which gave you a shortcut. I always appreciate little shortcuts like that, where the area kind of loops back in on itself, and it allows you to have shortcuts like that. Over here was the vault, which I fucked up at first and had to go back and get the key for. And yeah, it was a cool area. Where the hell's the start of it? I'm lost. I'm very lost. It's just so easy to get lost in this area. Okay, yeah, if I see like this thing, then I know I'm close. It was back here. And it teleports you quite a long way. Like 908, 8. Yeah, you're being teleported like 500 blocks away. 900 blocks away. Like, I go in this direction, then I have to go all the way across Mount Sinus. And then all the way across the breeding grounds. And then I have to turn here at the Zephyrin Sands. And then, oh look, it's the Summoner's Lair. I'd just go like straight back north. Where would I end up? I pass by little mines. And then I would have a huge heap of nothing and then end up in Winter's End. Okay. Right. Next up is the Cinderblood Temple. Is that over here? No. Over here? Yeah, the Cinderblood Temple. The pigmen in this area hurt a lot. Not a fan of this being a hell biome. Understand that fits with the theme, but natural spawning pigmen just made this so much harder than it needed to be. This was the site of my second death. Not here specifically, but this area. It was in this big chamber. And this whole first area, like this set of chambers, is very confusing. I had to go back down here, which, for the quest item, which I didn't actually realize at first, was here. I didn't go down there. What the hell are you doing here? Yeah, then you have the main portion of the area. Knockback resistance helped a lot here, and I was able to safely get the crystal. But around here, right here, I ended up dying. Because the potions were just too much. The pigmen I can deal with, the potions on top were just too much. Like, That's a recurring theme throughout these areas, like, the potions on top of the mobs make it so much harder. Alright. But yeah, not a whole lot to say about that. The Winter's End. This was pretty cool. I don't think I ever came back. Okay, no, I did. There's like a nice pickaxe there. But yeah, the Winter's End. It's like a snowy area. And you go up and down a lot. Like first you have to go up. And oh my god, this area is huge. There's actually a house up here. I never actually found this, but I saw it later when I was going back through in spectator mode through some of the areas, seeing if there was anything I missed. Like that's what I do off camera. Sometimes I'll go through like in spectator mode in some of the areas that I've already been in and just see if there was like anything really obvious that I missed. I guess you could argue that it's a little cheaty, but honestly, it's more of a time saver than anything. Yeah, and over here you had to get the different keys, sorry, summoning scrolls. The required objectives that kind of force you to explore around. I like the way that's done. You start getting given actual diamonds here. But of course it's a trap and it blows up. And yeah. This area is really cool. It's really well done. And over here you had the best weapon in the game up to this point, the Cairo Slasher, sharpness 10 diamond. And yep, let's see. Sharpness 10 diamond would be like 12.5 plus 7. It's like 19.5 attack damage. So it's not the best attack weapon in the game, the hoe is, but it's up there. It's up there. Up here is a secret pickaxe that ended up combining with another pickaxe later. What was in here? There's something in here. And then you had the boss fight here, which I'm still not really sure what bugged out here. My theory is that it bugged out because it was the fireball that killed him, but I don't know. Maybe the version of the map I have just has this fight as bugged. So I ended up having to cheat in this crystal, unfortunately. But it's fine, it was still a fun fight. Then over here we have the path to the final intersection, where jump boost allows you to survive these huge vertical chambers, with still a ton of attention to detail. Then you end up all the way near the void, actually. Not that close, but fairly close. These intersections just keep getting better. And the final intersection, this one really I had the most fun in, because even though I had amazing gear at this point, like, I had a variety of amazing gear that allowed me to kind of try out different weapons, different play styles, and it's really cool how there's just so many weapons that have custom abilities that you can kind of like try out different playstyles and see what you like. Yeah, first off was Halcyon Labs. This one is actually not that far away. You just couldn't really fit it down below. But yeah, over here was the Fake Brown Crystal by Professor H.E. Alicio. Where was the start? Over here in this little dirt cave, where presumably there was an explosion of some kind. That's where you spawn in. And this is like a really extensive area. It's not obvious at first, but this is really extensive. I ended up choosing the upgraded Paladin's armor set for this area, and that was a huge help in this bottom floor. Knockback, resistance, fire resistance, regen. It just gave me everything. I didn't really end up using it beyond this area, and I never ended up using the upgraded Grandmaster set, but it was awesome while it lasted. The original Paladin set, I think, was just too little too late, but the upgraded Paladin set was perfect. And honestly, the upgraded Paladin set would have been better for the Witch boss fight. But I didn't really consider that. Yeah, this was a really cool area. Got the webs here that lead to the Shadow Key. This item is required to access the final area. I've been watching TJ play through this map. Kind of see his approach to things, and it's really frustrating watching him just pick up these like shadow keys and then not read the text on it, be like, oh, I wonder what this is for. It's just like, read the damn text. It's there for a reason. Oh my god. Yeah, you had like the pigs here, and you really get the feeling that you're in a laboratory when you're in this area. It's awesome. And then on the final level, you have there was something over here. I think a piece of custom loot. You have like this crazy little artificial jungle here, which uses actually uses jungle leaves but oak wood, oak logs. Questionable choice of wood there, but all right. Yeah, this was the book informing you of the location of the true black crystal with brown crystal, which was in this aquarium. There was an emerald on both sides. And then over here was the brown crystal, which is actually a really, really good weapon, but I didn't want to risk losing it. I already had plenty of good weapons by this point. Next up is the Reeking River, the witch area. I think this was a good idea. Like the idea behind everything was good. I think it was a fun and enjoyable area up until the end. Even the castle was pretty cool, if pretty confusing, but oh boy, this boss fight is just so much harder than it should be. Having a guardian on top of the witch's head was a horrible idea. This is 100% the hardest boss fight of the map. And it's honestly really disappointing, because you would expect the last boss fight to be the hardest, but nope, it's this one. And so, even though I ended up getting through this boss fight without dying, barely, I didn't enjoy it. Here you've got like some of the command blocks that make everything work. What do these things say? Okay, this handles the syllables. Yeah. You're testing for an item frame with an item with a tag. A display tag that has lore, the last syllable of a mysterious name. And this runs on a clock. And then in here, you got the command blocks that power the fight itself. Okay, this summons the occult protectors. Plays a sound. Execute on the player within a radius of 80. You're filling the area around them with webs. This summons a particle cloud. This plays a sound. This teleports the witch named Illyria. You shall be cursed. I wouldn't be able to set this kind of thing up myself, but it's cool to look at these command blocks and see how all this works. But yeah, cool area, not so good execution on the boss fight. Much harder than it needs to be. And we died a lot in that fight in multiplayer. Because there just weren't enough orbs for everyone. Fort Viserion, I think was what this place was called, the Red Crystal. Yep. This was a pretty enjoyable area, I think, although it was a bit on the easier side, because at this point I had a lot of potions stored up. The mobs here are still really crazy. Like, the mobs actually just keep getting harder, even at the very end of the map. And so you really gotta be careful and on your toes, even this far into the map, whereas in like a Vex CTM you'd be basically invincible by this point. This was honestly a fairly easy boss fight. Like, it was annoying to hit the dragon's hitbox, but you basically just get up onto like one of these bus stations where the mobs can't get to you, and then you shoot him. And then you wait until he dies. Fairly easy area, I think. Maybe it's just because I had really, really good gear at this point. But I did not find it too difficult. The Exile. This area. This really lives up to its name. Or its status as the Black Crystal. You got the fake crystal in here. It's a nice lookout platform that shows you what to expect. And I think I ended up consulting this book for the one in the witch area. The second one. Because that witch castle is just very confusing, but other than that, I found all these just going through normally. But yeah, this area, the Exile, was crazy. There are like super strong creepers here that have a really short fuse. There's like insanely tanky skeletons that have like a lot of health and have potions on them, and have to find and blow up these shrines, and it's crazy. And like pretty much any other CTM, you'd be like damn near invincible at this point, but you could very easily die in this area if you're not careful. Yeah, here you get some spectral dust. The cursed blood for the sword. The sharp 7 sword that the merchant intersection 4 sells, you get in the witch area, the green crystal. And then here in the black crystal, you get the godskin chestplate that you can use for the boss fight like I did. Now this maze here, there's 2 of these mazes and they're both confusing as hell. And they both have shrines in them that you need to destroy and then find your way out of. It's lovely. But yeah, over here, this is where you get teleported to when you try and take the black crystal. And Aris fight number 1 is fairly difficult, but wasn't too bad. Like, I had to use an apple occasionally, but I probably would have been fine, even with fairly minimal potions here. But Aris fight number 2, this was very hard. And you have to be very careful when you have blindness not to fall into the void and lose everything. There's still an armor stand here. So what do these various buff stations give you? Resistance 2. I never actually made much use of these buff stations in the boss fights. I always brought my own potions. And strength. But yeah, this fight was very difficult. Very intense. Like, I ended up being fine because I could just eat a golden apple to refresh my absorption 3. But this guy, he does a lot of damage. A lot of damage, and it was a crazy fight. I mostly beat him because I had strength 3. Strength 3 and a lot of health to tank his hits, but he does like a shit ton of damage. And it was a super intense boss fight. Yeah, overall, like, really fun and really enjoyable map. And I honestly, like, might end up trying this again at some point just to try out, like, different sets of gear, different play styles. Even though I know the map pretty well at this point. Just kind of challenge myself. Like, I would say this map has a lot of replay value. Even when you do know the areas. But yeah, for my final trick, I will kill myself. Oh no, 3 deaths. Oh yeah, and another thing that I don't think I ever explicitly pointed out. Everything in the back end is done through scoreboards. There's like a scoreboard for everything. And let's say list. What is Frost Slot 1? Green? Okay, list is the tab. So right now, Zin is 0, but if I were to get his armor set, would it become 1, or is that different? I don't know. I'm not too familiar with how all this works on the back end, but it's all done through scoreboards, and it's pretty cool. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna do next. Like, we're gonna be starting a new multiplayer CTM next week, and I'll probably record that. After that, I might end up doing like Ragecraft 2, maybe. I'm not really sure what the future holds. I think I probably will end up doing Ragecraft 2, but for right now, I think I'm done for a little while.